Okay, wonderful people. This is a continuation of the course on front-end development and back-end development. Um, we actually on a steady pace to actually get you on the right path. The last time or in the previous video, we actually discussed what you see on the left, right? I have done a screen split. That is, I've taken Visual Studio Code on the left and my browser on the right to aid in speed, right, and effectiveness, right? So let me show you how I did that. You have to just take up your Visual Studio Code like this. You minimize, you reduce the size, then you adjust it, okay, to one side of the screen like that, right? And then your browser also takes another side of the screen. Ta-da! You get it. So your browser also takes. You just adjust your browser to also take a side of the screen. So like they are sharing borders, right? Yeah. Like good. So this is the ID country and this is the browser country. So they share kind of borders, right? Good. Now the last time this is what we did. We learned about IDs and we learned about classes as form of what attributes. So we learned about attributes the last time, and then we talked about attributes as these are properties or these are unique items added to the element, okay, to give description or to give additional properties or work or functionalities to the main element. So if you look at this side, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 paragraphs here, paragraph elements, right? And each paragraph element has an attribute, right? The first one has ID attribute, that is identity attribute. The second one has a class. The third one class, fourth class, fifth class. So they all have what class, what attributes. We talked about ID as identity. Okay, this ID attribute as identity. We give identities to items or elements that we want to make it unique. For example, if you look at all the paragraphs here, you can see this alone has an ID of what my P. So it means this is unique from all of what the paragraphs or all of the elements what's here, including my key, right? It means whatever we write against my P, it will affect my paragraph alone, this paragraph alone. If you say the browser should look for my P, it will only look for what? This. It means no other element should have an ID that is called my P. Okay, each element here can have an ID, but they cannot have the same name here. Okay, my P, they cannot have the same name. It is against the law, okay, of coding in HTML. What it will do is that it will create what we call conflict. As the last time I made an illustration that when you enter a class and then two people are called Esther, or two people are called Emmanuel, or two people are called Malik, okay, and you say, oh, Malik, get up. Definitely they both are going to be confused because they don't know who you are calling, okay, unless maybe you mention their full name. What if their full name is like Malik Abdullah? So how do you even identify them? So you need to, they should have a specific unit among them that makes them special, okay. Definitely one of them will have a middle name. Even if they don't have a middle name, you should use their nature, their feature to describe them. Maybe you enter the class and you're like, I'm looking for Malik Abdullah. He's dark in complexion. That is a unique identity. Probably the other one is also fair. If Malik, definitely they cannot be on the same height. If they are of the same complexion, maybe they are not the same height. So you can tell the one who is taller, or you get it. Good. So IDs are used to make some elements special. Good. And then classes are given to elements that we want them to have the same functionality or the same effect, okay, or the same attitude. Okay, so here if you look carefully, you can see this paragraph. Okay, these two paragraphs have the same class names, right? This one has a class name of first. This second one also has a class name of what? First. So it means these two paragraphs, okay, these two P's here, or the two paragraphs here, would have the same effect, okay. For instance, students that belong to the level 100 class, okay, or level 300 class, or level 400 class in a university, or students within the same class level, junior high school level 3, okay, it means when you are calling them, you call them junior high school level 3, all of them will come out, right, because they are a class. If you say I'm looking for farmers, you see only a class of farmers will come in. You get it? Very good. So classes are used to give identity to a group of people or group of elements. Okay, good. So if you look down here too, you can see another class, two paragraphs here with the same class names, paragraphs, right? So it means these two would have the same word effects. Very good. So we've now known about IDs and class. Now IDs and class can be given to every element in the HTML documentation except these. Okay, anything above the head, okay, anything above the body, okay, cannot contain an ID or class element. Some attributes can be given to elements only inside the body. Okay, for instance, an ID, an attribute called ID, an attribute called class, an attribute called behavior, direction, are all found within the body tag, elements within the body tag. I hope this is clear. Very good. But it doesn't mean that the heading and title cannot have elements with attributes. They do. Okay, as time goes on, you get to know some of the elements that can have an attribute. Even the body tag here can have an attribute, right? But for now, we'll only focus our agenda on attributes within the body tag. Okay, elements that will have attributes within the body tag. Good. So the last time we ended with marquee, and we showed, if you look at the browser here, you can see something going up like that. That is the marquee, right? With a behavior and a direction. We've not set the behavior and we've set the direction. By default, the direction is left. Okay, by default the direction is left. That is moving from one side to another side. Okay, good. Now let's change the behavior. Okay, let's give the behavior value. We can give the behavior of 2 values, right, or more. I don't know, but I know of 2. By default it is scroll, right? So this is scrolling. Okay, another value that we can give is alternate. So we come here, then we type alternate, and you can see the alternation. Did I type it well? Alternate. Let me refresh my browser and let me reduce this to about 5 text or few, and let me see, and let's see. The alternate would have to hit here and then bounce back. Let's see. Okay, good. It's working. It's working. So alternate necessarily actually tells the items within or the content within a marquee to bounce off the borders of the browser. All right, good. That is how it is. And then the direction is used to specify whether I should go up, down, left, or right. So by default it goes left, so we are going to specify it to go right, and when we type right here, it's going to go only from the right. Okay, it's going to start from the right and go to the left. All right, good. So let's remove the alternate, and let's see, it's going to move from the right to the left. So that is the direction here. Now another attribute you can give to the marquee is scroll amount. That is the speed at which it moves, right? You can see it is moving slow by default. Okay, what I know of that is by default marquee scroll amount is 6, right? So we can change the scroll amount from 6 to about 10, right? So let's specify 10, and we can see there is an increase in the scroll. That is the speed. We can change it to 40 and see. Good. So you can see the marquee is as fast as it can with the scroll amount. So let's change it to 2 and see how slow it becomes. See how slow it has become. So that is it. You can see when we give attributes to elements, it actually adds additional functionalities or sensation to the elements. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a project. Okay, we're going to build a simple project, but before we build that project, I'm going to introduce you to images. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to images, then I'll give you an assignment or a test to do. After the text, you come back to the next video, and then we get introduced to what we call styles. But before we do the styles, we will do the project, the assignment that I've given you. We'll do that assignment, and then we'll continue with styles. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate or clean everything here. Good. If you have any questions, always drop it or send it via email so that we can have access to reply. Now we're gonna create an image. Now, like paragraphs, like italic, like bold, we have elements for image, and then the elements, the tag name for image is img, right? Img in simple short, right? Good. So because of beginner level, I would type it from scratch like this, img. Good. Now the image tag here, the moment I type this, nothing shows in the browser. Okay, I've set my browser to automatically refresh itself, right? I'm using an extension. When we start building projects, you get to know about the extension, but for now you just have to refresh your browser. Okay, good. Now the image tag here, okay, is not working because it cannot work alone. This image tag name doesn't have a closing tag. It doesn't have anything like this. You see, it doesn't have anything like this. Okay, no. The image tag is an exception. You see, I told you about exceptions. There are some element exceptions that do not have a closing tag. Okay, an example is image. Image doesn't have a closing tag. But image, in order to work with image, you need to specify what we call the source. Where is the image located at? Where can I get the image? You are telling the browser to bring an image, but there is no location. You are not referencing that image. So it means we need what we call an attribute. We need what we call the source attribute or the src attribute. Now, I want you to do this simple exercise. I want you to go to your project folder. Okay, go to anywhere you have an image, copy and paste an image here. Okay, I've already pasted an image here and named it image-1.jpg. That is my image, right? Image-1. If yours is png, fine. If yours is jpg, just make sure you've named your image as image-1, right? By default, you know that your image is jpg or png, okay, or gif or gif. So the extension here, look at the extension. The extension here is .jpg, right? Try to get any image you want, any image with any extension. Okay, your image extension, instead of jpg, yours can be png, right? Good. So the next thing you do after copying and pasting your image in your project folder, you come to Visual Studio Code, you click on the Explorer. We have to have our browser on this side. You click on the Explorer, you're going to see the folder, sorry, the file inside your IDE, right? Good. So since you have it now, look at it clearly. This is directly in the same folder with your projects, the first project. They are in the same folder, right? They are direct, like they are neighbors, right? So because they are neighbors, we just have to specify the name, right? So we come here and then we add an attribute called src, like this. src equals double quote. Now src means, or the full word is source, right? Source, like location. You get it? Good. So we need to specify, and because it's directly inside the same folder, we just have to say that HTML should look for something called image img-1.jpg together with its extension. If you can notice, the moment I saved in my IDE, this actually showed, right? This actually showed. Good. So image-1.jpg, right? Good. Now this is the image. So HTML document here looked for that image and then it actually applied it here. You can see. So let's duplicate. Let's do it once again. I just hit and I type image src. That is the location, source, and sorry, and I'll close it here and I'll type image-image.jpg, right? And you can see there's another image here. Assuming we take off the extension, this is the extension. We take off the extension. You see the image disappears and this shows. It means the image is what broken. It cannot be found. Okay, it cannot be found. So it means you always have to make sure the extension shows. It's either, if let's say this image is a png, you type .png, right? Then you see. But because the image is not a .png file, it doesn't show. So always make sure you put in the correct file extension .jpg. It will show automatically here. Good. So your project is, I want you to do this. Bring an image here. In the next course, this is your assignment. Bring an image, all right, here. I want to see an image in your browser, and under your image or beside your image should be a paragraph with text, random text with formatting, different formatting. Okay, good. And then maybe a marquee, and add a marquee also. That is your project. So in the next video, we're actually going to do that. We're going to do that project. Then we actually head towards styles, and then that is where we're actually going to be playing with colors, shapes. I know you're ready, right? So thank you.